How are you currently engaged with special needs students in their education?
I'm currently a special education paraprofessional, so I work one-on-one with students in the classroom. And I basically do this just to ensure that these students are successful in the classroom. And all of the students are really intelligent, but some of them just need a little bit of extra assistance just to make sure that they're meeting all of the requirements. And basically, my assistance to them just involves taking them out of the classroom or helping them a little bit more with assignments just to make sure that they're really comprehending all the information that they need to for their particular grade level.
What age group do you work with?
I currently work with middle school students, so 6th, 7th, and 8th graders.
Has there been any changes in special education that you have noticed?
Yeah, recently there's been a lot of changes. Recently they've done a lot of changes within the IEP program, and what that means is Individualized Education Program. So what they do for students is they talk to the parents, they talk to the educators, case managers, and people within the administrative team, and they all come together and they talk about what each particular student needs to be successful in the schools. So a long time ago they never had programs like that, so each student would basically be on their own trying to navigate and figure out how to learn best themselves, and for most students it wouldn't work. So since about 1975, when that program was created, until now, they've had so much improvement in the way that they enforce IEPs. So each special needs student will have their own program that is discussed with their special needs teacher, their paraprofessionals, and administrators that go to the school. So they have programs that really help each of these students become successful. So this might include sensory rooms or frequent breaks, and all of these changes have really helped improve the education equality today.
How are disabled children being included with their peers in school?
Well, disabled children are totally included at school because people like me, paraprofessionals, work really hard to be able to integrate the general education with special education. A long time ago, special education, they were in their own secluded classes. There was no other interaction with peers their age. So now we work really hard to integrate the two. We work to give special education students a chance to form relationships and grow and learn with their peers. A direct example of this would be adaptive PE. So all of the students I work with are enrolled in adaptive PE. So each special education student is paired with 2 to 3 buddies. And the buddies are kids their age who volunteer or sign up to be a part of this PE class. And they help monitor the students and they play games, and it's just really such an uplifting time for the special education students because it really gives them that much needed break from the day, that reprieve that just allows them to have fun and engage with students their age who they don't get to see often. And it just is such a good time for them to build those relationships that they may not have otherwise. And just to be able to see the interaction that these kids have and just to see the smiles on their faces when they get to go to gym and hang out and just play with kids their age, it's just such a beautiful integration of special education. I think we've seen a huge evolution in the social norms regarding special education within, I would say, probably the last 10 years. Because personally, I think a lot of people struggle to interact with people with special needs just because they don't understand people's mode of communication. And really, it's not that different than the way that you and I communicate. I mean, some people, they like to communicate visually. So sitting down and drawing pictures, or some just enjoy spending time with you and just not even talking at all. So sometimes this intimidates people and they don't know what to say or how to act, but it's just because they don't take the time to understand the feelings that special needs people have. But I think nowadays I've seen such a change because even walking through the hallways in school with some of the children I work with, their peers just stop and say hi and ask them about their day. Whereas I don't think that years ago people would do this because they saw people with disabilities as an outcast. So I think today people in schools are really sensitive and really understanding to the needs of people with special needs, and they understand that these people aren't different. They're really amazing people with great hearts, and they're sensitive and caring and funny, and they love creating experiences and having relationships. So I think the social norms have truly evolved so much to seeing people with disabilities as outcasts and being intimidated by them to now embracing them and loving them.
How are disabled children being included with their peers?
So there's a couple of programs at the school that I work at, and one in particular is a PE class where they have general education peer mentors that come in and basically lead the PE class. So every student has a peer buddy that participates in their PE class with them, and another way would be an after kind of an extracurricular program, like it's called Best Friends. It's kind of like the same thing as Best Buddies, where students get a buddy and they do things outside of school with them. They go bowling, they do things in school, like they have special activities like special lunches and stuff like that, but they also take the time to call them, text them, pick them up over the weekend, go do something fun together. So they really go out of their way to try and have good relationships.
What struggles have you encountered working with children with special needs, and how have you learned to cope with the struggles throughout your career?
Some of the struggles I've encountered would be working with students that are nonverbal. It's really frustrating for students and for the adults that work with them when there's communication problems. So I just always try to find somebody that has knowledge about what to do, like a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, a teacher, that can help me with that. Or if there is special technology that a student uses, then I don't know how to use it well. You just always try to seek out your own education to help you become more effective working with students.
How are you currently engaged with special needs students and their education?
I am a special education paraprofessional, or teacher's aide, whatever you want to call it. I work in a high school with all different types of students with special needs, which can be from learning disabilities to behavior issues to more severe disabilities like physical impairments or visual impairments. So I work with a variety of students, and I get to spend one class period a day with different types of students, and get to help them with their assignments, or make sure they understand directions, or basically keep them on task if they can't stay on task.
Has there been any changes in special education that you have noticed?
Yes, I've been doing this for 13 years, and what I've noticed is that people with disabilities are included much more with students in the general education classes. I see a lot more general education students wanting to interact with students with disabilities and get to know them, become their friends, spend time. So yes, a lot more inclusion.